everybody. Uh, this is me, still in my jammies. Hey, Megan. Like my night before Christmas jammies. So, mental illness. Let's discuss mental illness. When people suffer with panic attacks, anxiety attacks, heart palpitations, it's a nightmare to wake up in the morning. Whenever I wake up in the morning, I don't understand why I feel this way, because I'm not having bad dreams, I'm not, drinking coffee before bed, or whatever these doctors tell us could be the root of why we wake up the way we do. I wake up with heart palpitations and a very increased heart rate. I have no explanation of why I have that. I have nothing to be anxious about when I wake up. It's more of I have stuff to be anxious about later on in the day, but I'm not thinking about that the minute I wake up. So there's no explanation for why I have these really increasing heart palpitations. So I want to talk to everybody about my 2 appointments that I had yesterday. Now, yesterday, I wasn't feeling too good, so I asked Zach's mom if she could drive me to my doctor's appointment, even though it's just right down the road from me. Actually, it's just, walk up my door, and it's a short walk to the doctor's. But I was feeling dizzy, so I didn't feel safe walking down the sidewalk because I didn't want to do a face plant into the sidewalk. Well, before she had got here, and I don't know what happened. There's no explanation for it. I mean, I do get really bad anxiety right before doctor's appointments because I always worry about them. I was getting my bag ready with everything that I usually carry with me, my over-the-counter meds, and my drinks and everything else that I usually carry with me in my backpack. And I was walking back to the futon to put everything in the backpack, and all of a sudden my heart just started racing really fast, and then it felt like somebody was crushing it. So I'm like, okay, Abby, just breathe through this. It's just a panic attack. Then it got worse. So I decided I'm going to check my Apple Watch and check and see what the heart rate is. And of course, my heart rate was through the roof. I started shaking all over the place. I could barely stand up because my legs were shaking. I was contemplating whether I should call 911 or just wait it out. Luckily, I was able to get everything to somewhat calm down. I got to my doctor's appointment. I waited for the doctor to come in, and she started to talk to me about medication that I've been on. And she brought up one medication that I took myself off of because it actually does cause idiopathic intracranial hypertension, is what I have already wrong with my brain. And it states that if somebody that already suffers with it, it can increase the spinal fluid that is around the brain. So after a couple days of taking that and then doing the research on the medication, I decided that I did not want it anymore. And I was originally prescribed it because I had an eating disorder and I wasn't eating right. And it did help me get my appetite back, so I wasn't really in need of that medication. And then the doctor's like, she said that, she asked me how long I was on it, and I said about 5 days, which give or take 5 days. And she goes, well, you have to allow it to work for at least 7 days or longer. And I explained to her that it was giving me migraines, which meant that there was pressure starting to be built around my brain. And then she was still going off on how I should have allowed it to actually start working for me. And I'm thinking to myself, it did work for me. I got my appetite back, and I got off it because I didn't need it anymore because I am eating. So apparently she didn't listen to me on that one. But luckily I don't have to take it. And even if she told me to take it, I wouldn't be taking it because I'm not putting my brain on the line to make some so-called doctor happy. And then she was talking about the recent medication that I got off of, Fluoxetine, which is also known as Cymbalta. I got off it because I've been on it before, and the drug had stopped working for me because I had been on it for multiple years, which that does happen. You know, you're on a medication, and then sooner or later your body becomes immune to it, and it's not working as effective as it used to. Well, she decided to put me on it recently, and I noticed that it was giving me severe migraines. It was making me nauseous. It was giving me a lot of pressure in the temples. So I did some research on it. You know, I never did research on it the first time around. I did research on it, and lo and behold, I did find out that Cymbalta has been linked, and it's got a lot of lawsuits. It's been linked to idiopathic intracranial hypertension or intracranial hypertension. They're both the same. One is explained and one is unexplained. So after hearing that and seeing that, because I did watch some videos on what's going on with Cymbalta and all these lawsuits with Pfizer and everything else, I decided I'm not taking this anymore. I would rather deal with the panic attacks than have increased pressure on my brain that could cause me vision loss. It could cause me more problems than I want, and I'm not ready to lose my eyesight. I'm not ready to have all these things wrong with my brain. I already am dealing with what they call a pseudotumor, which means that it acts like, the pain in my brain acts like I have a brain tumor, but there's no tumor there. It's like a false tumor. So, back to the doctor's appointment. She goes, well, you have to give it time to work. And I'm thinking to myself, I've been on this medication before for many years. So if I'm having problems now, there's a reason for it. So luckily she didn't make me keep taking it, which y'all know me. I wouldn't take it because I read up on what it can cause. So then she was talking about how I've been on so many different medications and none seem to work for me, and I have a sensitivity to medications, to their side effects. Well, who doesn't? Okay, you can only deal with nausea, stomach aches, and headaches, and all that for so long until you say, you know what, I can't stand this anymore. And then she's like, well, maybe you need counseling. Okay. I've seen a psychiatrist before, and it was kind of worthless. So I decided that, yeah, put in a referral for me to have a counselor, whatever, just see where it goes. And then she put me on hydroxyzine, or however you pronounce it, which is an antihistamine. So it's no different than Benadryl, if you ask me. Been on it before. I used it in combination with another medication, so I don't know how it works by itself. I don't understand how an antihistamine helps with anxiety issues. Um, I was on this medication way back in, Lord, I can't even remember. Had it been 2015 maybe? 2015, 2016, not 100% sure. I think it was 2015. So that was like 6 years ago. Um, so I'm not sure how well this actually works for anxiety. I don't understand how an antihistamine would work. Um, but yeah, I got prescribed that. And I mentioned to her about getting a referral for a cardiologist because of the severe pains that I've had in my chest that don't seem like they are anxiety related or panic attack related, that, there could be something, I want something looked at. I have a family history of heart problems. My grandfather died of a heart attack. I lost my mother to a heart attack. My father had some stents put in his, the valves in his heart. And I know some of you are probably saying, well, doesn't the heart stop beating and then that causes death? No, I'm trying to explain that they had heart problems that led to their untimely death. And with me being 40 and my mom dying young from a heart attack, and plus she had mental health problems, that's something I want looked into to see if anything is wrong. As a child, I do recall I got diagnosed with a heart murmur. I know I was diagnosed with an irregular heartbeat, so I want to get that looked into. I'm getting up there in age. I'm getting to the point that I need to pay more attention to my health, and not listen so much to doctors, which is really hard with mental health problems. I do check my heart rate daily on the Apple Watch that Zach bought me for my birthday, and I'm going to check it right now. Right now I'm at, it's bouncing. That was weird. Right now I'm at 82 beats per minute. 8 minutes ago it says I was at 80. So, yeah. Also it has an ECG on it, so I can check that too. It doesn't show if you're having a heart attack or anything, but believe me, if your heart rate's up there, that's your sign right there that you need to get it looked at. Alright, so after leaving that doctor's appointment, I had like an hour or so before I had to have my GI doctor's appointment. And when I got to my GI doctor's appointment, I was having a really bad panic attack. My heart rate was like up there. And again, it was me going to another appointment. So I got in there and I don't even see my GI doctor. I've seen my GI doctor once when I went and got my colonoscopy. After that, I see physician assistants. And I'm thinking, what community college did you go to try to give me advice or information on what's wrong with me? Because here's where you'll understand. I got my appointment with a GI, which apparently I didn't see the GI. I actually saw the physician assistant, which is really stupid because I would like to talk to my GI doctor, not some nurse or whatever you are, about my situation. Well, anyways, I sat in a chair to take my vitals. She sits in front of a computer. Okay. And she opens up my file. And she goes, well, what's wrong today? And I explained that I have a stabbing stomach pain. right here, and the pain juts up into my chest and gives me like a little twinge in my chest. And then I was explaining to her that it felt like that my bowels weren't moving properly, and I wasn't trying to be politically accurate. I was going like this, showing me, it's not moving right. And she snobbedly said, well, your colon, everything in your digestive system goes this way. And I'm thinking, I wasn't trying to be correct. I'm just putting a point out that I'm having problems with my digestive system. So I ignored her remark, because my anxiety was already messed up. So I didn't want to throw my blood pressure through the roof just yelling at this chick. So I breathed, let that one slide. Then she had the audacity to ask me, have you tried Miralax? If y'all have paid attention to some of my posts, you know my feelings about Miralax. I looked at this woman after rolling my eyes. I said, Miralax does not work for me. It worked for my colonoscopy because I had to take a whole bottle of it, but other than that, it doesn't work for me. She goes, well, how long did you use it? I go, I used it for maybe about a week. Well, you have to use it longer for it to actually work. Okay. I go, I was getting severe stomach aches. I was nauseous, keeping nothing down. I couldn't eat anything because I was so nauseous. And she goes, well, how much were you taking? And I explained to her the proper dose you're supposed to put in there. So apparently it got disregarded. And the fact that supposedly Miralax does not give you side effects. But yet there's a side effects warning on it. So, again, shrugging it off, trying to breathe, still rolling my eyes at this lady while she's looking at the computer. And then it got to the point about bringing up my colonoscopy that I had back in August. I had mentioned to her, the stomach pains, all that. And I explained to her I was having some problems with my rectum and whatnot, and it felt like it was sore. I know, TMI. It felt like it was sore, and it felt like it was swollen. Here comes another eye roll towards this woman who I guarantee went to a community college. No offense to anybody that went to a community college, but if you're going in for a medical job, I would suggest you go to a better college, not a community college. She had the audacity to tell me that because my colonoscopy came back normal and there was no polyps or anything, that I shouldn't have any problems now with my colon. Okay, so you're telling me that once you have a colonoscopy, you can never have any problems with your digestive system? That was another eye roll, and I was just like completely dumbfounded that she had said this to me. I mean, are you kidding me? You can't have anything occur a month after a colonoscopy? One, colonoscopies don't always find everything 100%. It does miss things. And two, I'm sure after a little over a month after a colonoscopy, something could show up. What if something was brewing up before I had the colonoscopy and it wasn't showing up, and then it decided to show up later on? So, another eye roll, another try to breathe, Abby, even though this woman is driving you up the wall. What I went through this appointment was just beyond ridiculous. Nobody listens. Nobody cares. All they care about is telling you what some textbook told them when they went to college. Okay, every person is different. Every brain is different. Everybody's built different. We were not built all the same. People have different brains. People have different bodies. People have different organs. People have everything. That it's all different. Everything's different. Because if we weren't all different, it would be a boring world that we would live in. So, she decided to prescribe me some medication to see if we can get those bowels moving again. So Zach's gonna pick up those for me today after he gets out of work. And she ordered some blood tests to get done. I suggested a celiac and gluten testing because of the stomach ache, and I do eat a lot of food that has gluten in it, but recently I've been having problems digesting food with gluten in it. So I wanted to get tested to see if maybe I had a problem with gluten, or I have an intolerance to gluten. Never had it before, but it's one of those things that could spur up. So I did that blood work right after my appointment. I got some results back really early this morning. I couldn't get to sleep, and I noticed that I had some results back from Rochester General. I looked through them. I don't think any of them had anything to do with gluten. I think it was just my regular blood tests, my potassium, my sodium, and all that other stuff. It all comes back what I would call normal because I am anemic. I do have potassium deficiency. I have an iron deficiency, which would be my anemia. I have a problem with magnesium deficiency. It's not high enough for actually to be worried. It's not low enough for them to actually worry about it. My iron one, that one is usually low because I don't eat a lot of meat. So I've been trying to figure out how to increase my iron, which right now I'm just dealing with, simple health problems I'm having right now. But yeah, medical profession, ever since COVID has hit, has really gone down the crapper because it seems like they just want to diagnose you with what they read in a textbook. They don't want to listen to the actual patient. I've been in and out of multiple hospitals, and you would think with a stomach pain as bad as mine is, with also me having kidney stones and having problems with my bowels, that they would run imaging to see if something is severely wrong. And no, I get pain medication and discharged. So I've gotten to the point that I don't even trust doctors in hospitals. So right now I am sitting here with a stomach ache. My anxiety's not as bad, but I did take a medication that I said I wasn't going to take, but I don't have any of my new medication with me. I did take my Xanax that I said I would never take, but I figured I should because I was feeling a little off this morning. I do not want to take the Xanax anymore because it is habit forming. I'm thinking I will take it as as needed, and then I'm cutting the pills in half, so if they're not giving me the full strength, I'm just cutting them in half. So, that's what I wanted to say about what happened yesterday with me and my regular doctor, and going to the GI appointment where I didn't even see my GI doctor. I saw a physician assistant, which I think it would be nice to actually see my real GI doctor, other than when I got my colonoscopy. I mean, nurses don't know anything, and they didn't even have me lay down and check my stomach, and my stomach's really bloated right now, and for all of you that know me, that's not something. I've put on a lot of weight, but that's because of eating more, but I'm thinking some of that weight is the bloat. So, I don't know what y'all think, but I hope you enjoyed watching my video about how crappy the medical profession is, and hopefully you guys that do have to see doctors on a regular basis have better doctors than I do, because my doctors suck. They don't care about you. All they care about is sucking your insurance, sucking you for your copay, and that's it. Oh, and throwing drugs down your throat that don't work, so you end up coming back because they don't work. Right, so I will let y'all go till I decide I have something else to ramble about.